New details have emerged in the Tesla Cybertruck explosion outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas on New Year's Day. Investigators now believe the driver, identified as 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger, a decorated US Army Green Beret, died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound before the explosion. The car burst into flames just hours after an attack in New Orleans that killed 14 and is being investigated as an act of terror. Livelsberger, originally from Colorado Springs, rented the Cybertruck through the car-sharing app Turo. Turo said in a statement, "It is with a heavy heart that we confirm that this morning's horrific attack in New Orleans and this afternoon's Tesla Cybertruck explosion in Las Vegas both involved vehicles rented on Turo. We are actively partnering with law enforcement authorities as they investigate both incidents. We do not believe that either renter involved in the Las Vegas and New Orleans attacks had a criminal background that would have identified them as a security threat. We remain committed to maintaining the highest standards in risk management, thanks to our world-class trust and safety technologies and teams that include experienced former law enforcement professionals." The vehicle was packed with rudimentary fireworks and fuel canisters, and police also found a second firearm inside. However, the Cybertruck's sturdy construction largely contained the blast, resulting in only minor injuries to 7 bystanders. Police say Livelsberger's body was burnt beyond recognition, with only small parts of tattoos visible as a way to identify him. Livelsberger's military career began in 2006. He served with distinction, including deployments to Afghanistan, Ukraine, Tajikistan, Georgia, and Congo. He earned 2 Bronze Stars, 1 with a Valor device, a Combat Infantryman badge, and an Army Commendation Medal with Valor. He was on approved leave at the time of the incident. Newly unearthed video appears to show Livelsberger smiling with a woman believed to be his wife or ex-wife years before the blast. The woman, named Sara, was open about her disdain for President Trump. She posted a picture of a mailer that said "Stop Bigotry," alongside an illustration of Trump's side profile. "Perks of being a registered Democrat," she said on Facebook. In September 2015, she shared a screenshot of one of Trump's tweets and said she couldn't decide whether to laugh or cry. In the comments, she admitted to following Trump on Twitter just to get my morning motivation to kill someone. Sara did not immediately respond to a request for an interview. Authorities are still working to piece together Livelsberger's motivations.
Our subject is 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger. He's of Colorado Springs, Colorado, born July 22nd of 1987. As I mentioned to you already, his body is burnt beyond recognition, and I do still not have confirmation 100% that that is the individual that was inside of our vehicle. If you look at this Cybertruck here, we had to transport this down to our fleet services so that we could really get through this thing. And I remind you that the subject inside wasn't able to be removed for a very long period of time because he was burnt beyond recognition. And so as we continue to move through this, I'm going to talk a little bit about his identity and what we believe, but I would like to highlight a couple of things that the teams found inside of the Cybertruck that are useful to the investigation. And that, first and foremost, is a military identification. We also found a passport. We found a Desert Eagle 50 caliber semi-automatic pistol. And if you'll notice on a lot of these guns that we're going to talk about here, they're almost just burnt beyond recognition as well. There's a SLR model B30 semi-automatic firearm, number of fireworks that were still in the vehicle that had to be removed. Notably, we found an iPhone and a smartwatch, and then several credit cards were also in the name of our subject. Our subject is 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger. He's of Colorado Springs, Colorado, born July 22nd of 1987. Now, as you'll see here on a picture of his driver's license, let's see, the question really still remains for me, and I know that there's a lot of you folks in the media that are identifying this person as the person in our vehicle. As I mentioned to you already, his body is burnt beyond recognition, and I do still not have confirmation 100% that that is the individual that was inside of our vehicle. And so as I'm calling it now, the subject or person of interest, I will not come back until I have the confirmation through DNA or medical records that this is indeed, in fact, the subject inside of the vehicle. Now, further complicating this identification of this individual, We also discovered through the coroner's office that the individual had sustained a gunshot wound to the head prior to the detonation of the vehicle. One of the handguns was found at his feet inside of the vehicle. Obviously, in how we're trying to identify him, and I'm feeling comfortable to give you this information, is a tremendous amount of substantial evidence, to include he rented the Turo vehicle. There are 2 tattoos, one of which was on the stomach and one of which is on the arm, that we can see bits and pieces of it as in comparison to what it is that we now know he had on his body. That has given us a lot of confidence that this is, in fact, the same person. As well as the clearly obvious, which is the credit cards, the military identification, the passport. And then furthermore, as you'll see here in just a very short period of time, we tracked his movements from Colorado to Las Vegas, and in a number of the photographs that we were able to determine, he was the individual that was driving the vehicle. And also, I'd like to iterate this point to you. We still have only ever seen him in this vehicle, and we're not aware of any other subjects involved in this particular case. I would like to acknowledge a couple of things because I know what's going on in the social media world, and there are a number of things in this case that are similar to the attack in New Orleans. We do know that our subject here served in the military. In fact, he's a current member of the military. Both of the subjects served at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. What we do know about that is it's a very large military base, and we have no record that they served in the same unit or even at the same years at Fort Bragg, something that continues to remain under investigation. I also know that they both served in Afghanistan in 2009. We don't have any evidence that they were in the same province in Afghanistan, the same location, or the same unit. Again, something else that remains under investigation.